When I saw that question, I was like triggered.
I rather they take me as I am, but I will feel more comfortable doing intensive workouts and eating healthier to be more confident in myself, not to get the man.
It's not a matter of what I'm willing to do. What I am doing right now is trying to get myself to being that point of self-happiness.
Much. I didn't have to do much. The person that I am, people is just cling to me.
The problem is not really weak, but when you do things for other people, you also will not do them for other people, and you're being controlled based on outside opinion. And you really have to. I think it's important for people to stay authentic to who they are. However, if we're being realistic, a lot of what is happening in terms of enhancements, in terms of how people operate, based on Kevin Samuels and all these different things, is really to become more, to get more when
Be
they
more
start to date.
competitive.
It's a competitive market. And based on your industry, if we call it industry, if you're trying to get a hip hop star versus you're trying to get a lawyer versus you're trying to get a tech man or whatever, the reality is that as much as we want to talk about insides, physical attributes is a thing, but based on your grouping, based on who you interact with, whether you're a tech guy or this, that, you are also influenced by your environment on how your wife should look, because relationships, just as much as anything, is a social currency. And that's why, and then this is the rise of social media too. You have women giving women advice, okay, how to get a hip hop man, how to get a tech guy, how to dress this way, put on this, put on makeup, go like this, be more feminine. Men like red lipstick versus brown lipstick, or it has it going on. So it's unrealistic to pretend that, yeah, people aren't doing these things to become more competitive in the dating market to attract the type of man that they're looking for, because that's the reality of it. Wrong, I think wrong is a very harsh word. Is it necessarily being authentic to yourself? Probably not. But wrong, I think wrong is, I would not use the word wrong or correct. I think wrong is too harsh of a word for me. I think people are on journeys, and it might take you a while to realize that the surgery that you got for this didn't really make you feel as good as you thought it would, and that might be a learning that you have to figure out after. But wrong is too strong of a word for me to place on
You
how
know,
people act.
I recently found out that breast implants aren't permanent.
No, or most of them you have to up. You have to re-up.
And yeah, Umavi, and I was
Veneers, everything.
like, wow. Like, I'm sure they tell you that when you sign the paperwork, you know? But I cannot imagine like going through a procedure like that at all. Like to me, the concept is just crazy. But then
Mm.
you look at social media now and all the girls who are getting the millions of views and the likes and the shares and on all of that and having the conversations in the comment section. They all have some procedures, if it's whether it's a BBL or if it's
Correct.
breast implants, and they always
Correct.
selling some program and this is how I got this body. And I mean,
Correct.
if you know what to look for, you know, then you will know that they lying. But I'm sure that that is having an influence, and to me, it cannot be a positive influence. You know, it to me, like first of all, like I don't know anyone who's married to a woman who's had a BBL. Like that is way outside of my personal experience,
Mm.
and I don't know if it's even healthy to consider being in a relationship with a man whose expectation is that a woman would have to go and get plastic surgery.
Mm.
Mm. I don't think
Like,
that that is healthy.
like to me, that is
Yeah. But again,
like
it does kind of go back to what I was saying.
But
Like, it's not necessarily that they tell the woman to do it, but again, if I'm a hip hop star, most of the women going after the hip hop men have BBLs, because again, that's the imagery of what hip hop
yeah,
is.
but
that
are
is
they
And the
that,
marrying?
wife standing up
and
next to
that is the
you need
circle.
to look a certain way.
But are they
And
marrying these women?
Yeah, of course they are. And it's the
No,
same thing.
they marry them.
They marry them, they make children
They
with
marry
them,
them.
they wife
They
them.
make children with them and get. Yeah. You see, the thing
Yeah.
is, for me, on a holistic
You're right,
point of view,
Kanye.
because I remember. No, but you
With
A
can
lot
with
of
consider
them.
this
father.
week.
Yeah.
Just last week, there was this basketball star who got finessed by this IG model, and she was like, she was,
Brittany Renner and this young boy,
something.
Brittany Renner.
I don't
Yeah.
understand how he got
She was like
finessed because
his baby mother season, and she had no remorse. But what I was
Mhm.
going to say is that I have no problem with these. Like, I understand what Gianna was saying in terms of different circles call for different things, and that is just the truth.
That's truth.
You just have to be like confident in it. Like, it has certain celebrity couples I could see not having to go through that because they're very confident. Like, I could see Will and Jada not having to go through because they just abide by themselves, and I could see a lot of things.
You
But I've
haven't been
heard,
on social media for a while.
yeah, well, I haven't been, but I'm just saying, like, there are certain couples that I see who may not necessarily see that as a thing, but when you start to enter the world of hip hop, you start to enter the world of sports. And when I say sports, I'm talking about NFL and NBA. You
Mm.
understand?
Fast money.
Even like with football, like what we know as football, FIFA. Most of the men's wives, they're normal. They don't really do that, but you see, different environment calls for different things.
Correct.
I would support. I mean, if somebody wants to do it, because I've had women who say, they don't mind like after they make children for them to go and do a little boob lift, a little something like that, and
Correct.
that's cool. It's not something that I would expect of my wife, like, hey, we have 2 children, go and organize yourself. But I mean, if she wants to do it,
Yeah.
I don't see myself getting anywhere of that. What I would have a problem with is if she come home with one of them fake buffs and them fake. Because
Everybody kind of
it's like
have what they
why?
want to tolerate, for
Bro.
sure.
Right.
But yeah, to go back to the point, what are you willing to do to get a man? I think regardless of what, the dating market is the dating market. And you could be as much kind and loving as you are. Physical is a thing. And also how you present next to him is also a thing. And certain men or certain women just go for certain things. And that's just how it goes.
And you had to be in a position to get the interview.
You had to get something. If you're going with a certain man, you had to look a certain way. I wouldn't go after a hip hop star because I'm not gonna get a BBL. I'm not gonna go after. Everybody has their thing, and you just have to accept that that's just how life works. To be honest.
If you lose a relationship, what? Like, I think it's all about like building up yourself so you can stand on your own.
Would I become a stay-at-home mom? Certainly.
What are you willing to do to keep the man? Just try to be the best version of me.
I'd probably be willing to change my attitude, I guess. Because I could be very, very, very stubborn sometimes.
I find people should do what they want to do, and they should just leave people to do what they want to do.
Leave it alone,
Everybody relationship is different because you're broad brushing men. It's not all rich men beating their wife, not all rich men abusing their wife or warning them. And that's just the truth. And I know that for sure based on personal experience. Some men who that's just how they are, that's just the agreement. The wife loves them when they come home, they get the wife is domesticated, she's still here for the kids. At the end of the month, she gets I don't want to call it a salary, but or whatever.
A stipend, an allowance.
An allowance. Actually, my aunt and uncle have been married for 26 years now. And they have a business together. It's a straightening business where they fix cars and things. My uncle don't know how much money comes in the business because my aunt does the accounting. My aunt pays everybody the salary. My aunt does everything. And it functions for them. It works for them. And she's still a housewife because she's home. So she still, when the lunchtime comes, she cooking. Them children home from school now, so she make it, So I think people should mind their business.
Yeah, I agree. The thing about the question with abuse, abuse is a tricky one. I'm not sure if the abuse is just as simple as I want to have a man with money, so I'll take abuse. I think it has a lot of intricacies to that, so I don't want to touch on abuse at all. I don't think it's something I could talk about strongly. But I agree with Omavi on the other point of people should be able to just do what they want. I know for me, I may never be that housewife, domesticated 100% housewife, stay-at-home mom. But again, that doesn't mean that I wouldn't clean my house, I wouldn't cook food, I wouldn't take care of my children. It's just that I value career. And then I have other friends who prefer to stay at home and let their man deal with that. So the thing about it is social media, and if you pay attention too much or you lean too much to one side, it could really influence how you feel about yourself and make you feel ashamed or make you feel good or make you go against something that you may not quite understand. And I think that's where it gets a little complicated as a woman, is you should be able to respect a woman's decision to do what she wants to do. I am more career oriented, but I would not look down at a stay-at-home mom because she decides to stay home. That's not really my place to do.
What about a stay-at-home dad?
I wouldn't look down at that either. I think people should do what they want.
No. I mean, like, what about a career-driven woman in a relationship, like seeking a relationship with a man who is domestically oriented?
That happens too. People should decide and be with who they want and how it fits. I don't think that I agree with that. I mean, for me, that's not really something I consider my ideal, but I know other people who might. There are a lot of women who make a certain salary and want to have something at home, and the husband prefer to stay at home and do that. So I guess, yeah, not against it.